on my clock, so I would say let's go ahead and get started. Sylvain's going to be first up, and I will stop sharing so that he can take over.
Hello, everyone. I've been building a small web extension system to create extensions on Chrome and Firefox that are called Search with Cute Animals. So let me share my screen. There you go, nightly. It's a very small extension just with a pop-up where you can search in it. It gives you a different kind of animated GIF every single time you're searching, and it's injecting an animated GIF in this search and result page as well. It's working on Chrome and Firefox, and the reason is it's using some Mozilla projects to help developing the extension. For example, it's using browser polyfill to be able to use promises or APIs that are the same for Chrome and Firefox at the end. It's using, when we build the extension, it's used the addons linter from AMO for code checking to make sure that the building stops if there's any issues with the code itself before going to the stores on Chrome and Firefox. And it's using WebExt for bundling and testing the extension. That's basically it. So for Firefox right now, what you see, I got cutie cats, but we got extensions for pandas and dogs and all the animals out there.
Sylvain, what search engines does it work with?
It's using Bing right now. The end result page is Bing. We're currently trying to add some, how do you call those? When you start typing in a text box, you got search suggestions. Thank you. Where we're using Yahoo for that.
Excellent. Excellent. Any questions for Sylvain? I love how I love the cats. They're very cute. So.
I chosen this one for you, Aki.
Thank you, Sylvain.
I have one question. Why the linter is being executed directly and not through WebEx? Is there any reason for that?
There's not actually. We could use it directly inside WebEx. I don't remember if I had a problem with that, or no, I don't think there's a real reason why we couldn't just use WebEx for everything in there.
I guess that WebEx is running programmatically, right? You are loading as a library and executing the run from the build from there.
Yeah, WebEx, we're just using it inside console. The addons linter is directly integrated inside the node building script.
So theoretically, you should be able to run the lint command as you are running the build command. I remember that I wrote you how the fragment to run build, and lint should work basically mostly like the same with the same API. So maybe it's easier to just integrate both the commands in the same way.
Good idea. I'll check this out.
Thank you for exercising all our projects. It's very useful. Thank you.
Same. All right. Any other questions? Okay. We'll move on to Kumar then. Kumar, let us know what's going on with the add-on manager.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm just getting over a cold, so it's this one's gonna be a little rough, but that's all right. I can share my screen now. Okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna. I gotta also press the share button. Okay, so there's what am I going to talk about? I just want to give it like a general update. We've been doing a lot of work on the code manager, and for anyone hearing about this for the first time, the code manager is a tool for add-on reviewers to use when add-ons get submitted, so that they can quickly and efficiently find out if the add-on is safe for use. So that sort of involves going through the code and also looking at the messages that the linter had provided during submission. So it says I'm sharing my screen, but I can't see that. So just let me know if that's not happening, but I think it's happening. So we have a big change here in the layout. That's the main thing here. So the problem before was that with like a big file list, like this is a big file list, it was easy to lose your place. So right now we just have a much more kind of like more application like view where you can scroll through a very long file and you don't lose your place over here. So the things that I think I've showed some of this stuff before, but so I can go through, I could select a file here and get this code overview on the right. And that will, this orange line means that there's a linter message. So I can click on that and it'll jump me right to that line. And so that's a way to just really easily go through, you could glance at the file here and look through messages while you're looking at an add-on. And we also have, because this window is sticky now with the files, we had to maximize the space that it could use. And so the information panel got moved to this accordion style menu where you'd have to click on the information button to look at all the things like like to get the download link and the hash of the file. And so some of that I'm trying to wait and get some feedback from reviewers to see if they need that in a more accessible place, because it's a little different than before, because you have to actually, if you're browsing through the files, you have to stop what you're doing and click on the information panel to open it up. And we also have the keyboard shortcuts. This is something that you don't really need to access a lot. Once you learn them, then you learn them. So I think having those hidden is fine. So the same as before, we have K and J to move up and down files. So I'll just do that right here. Here's one new thing. We have images now. You can look at images. So there's some issues with larger images. It's not fully responsive yet. So the images might be too large to view, but we're working on that. And what else is there? So the main view, if I get out of that browse view, the main thing that reviewers are really interested in is this compare view, where you're looking at different versions. You're looking at the new version. You just want to compare the changes that it introduced in relation to the last version. And so this screen is now, I think, a lot easier to use. It's like the other one. It's got its own dedicated panel for scrolling through the text, and then the controls for changing versions are more condensed. And this is not the best test add-on, because there's like really only one change in the manifest. But you could easily switch between versions if you want to jump around. And then there's a patch working on Bob's machine to use a keyboard shortcut to move between diffs. So that's forthcoming. And I think that's it. Yeah, unless I forgot something. Yeah. So let's move it along. Thanks, everyone.
I got a couple of questions.
Sure.
Is there a way to hide the left and right panel to have more space when reviewing the code, to have only the center panel showing up?
Oh, that is an interesting question. So I will not spoil the next demo.
Okay, good. And
I will leave it open. I will not answer the question even. How about that?
Awesome. The second question I got, how does it handle? I know that you guys have changed the way I think you're using Git or something like that, where the files are stored and compared. How does it handle big JavaScript files? I know that right now the one currently on prod, when you got I don't know, 1 megabyte or 2 megabyte files, it just doesn't work. You need to compare them manually on your machine with a diff tool, for example. Is this one handling the big files better?
It's going to be a little bit better, but it's still not great. And it'd actually be super helpful if you could send me any links to some of those ones that like anything that crashes or times out on the existing tool. Definitely send those links to me, and we're going to, once we wanted to get a lot of the other features out of the way before tackling that kind of stuff, but we have some ideas for how to handle it. I mean, there's things like the syntax highlighting is most likely the culprit, and we could either disable that, or we'll have a good idea to move it to like a worker thread or something like that. But we still got to just profile it and sort of make sure that is the problem, because it's not always obvious, but there could be something else going on there.
Okay, yeah, I'll send you 1 or 2 links where
Cool.
On production it doesn't crash; it just timeouts.
Right. I think I have a feeling what's going to happen now is that it's just going to be really slow, but I think it will load. But if it's really slow, then that's not helpful, because then you're just going to be annoyed. So I want to fix it. Yeah.
Great demo. Thanks.
This looks great. I was thinking, maybe is Planet a search for files? Like if you have an add-on that you are reviewing with a lot of files, it may be useful to search for them by name instead of like navigating.
Yeah. There's that certainly makes total sense. I mean, just a search box in the files view, and maybe like a keyboard shortcut to kind of jump to files. Yeah, for sure. I think the thing I want to do is really get the reviewers to drive what we do next, and tell us what they want. I know that the diff view is one that they spend a lot of time in, and having the keyboard shortcuts to move between diffs is really huge, because that's sort of the main flow, right? Is like you're looking at a new version and you just want to quickly toggle, jump from one diff to the next. And you might not really know what files to look for, so it might not be that helpful to have a jump to file menu, but I don't know.
I was thinking like sometimes the extension is fragmenting logic through different files. So maybe you have a background page that exchange messages with some content script that you are injecting. And so when you see that there is a file that is being injected, maybe you want to jump there and see what is doing next. And that is probably the case when it's useful. But yeah, I'm not sure how common it is.
Right.
I think we have a user story for that somewhere in the PID that allows to, or that describes how to search through the add-on, basically full text search within the add-on.
Thank you.
That's sort of a different. That's kind of a different case. Just searching for like specific kind of like functions or code or something like that. I think Luca, you were just talking about jumping
inside
to files, right?
Yeah. I was talking about file by name, but
I see. Okay.
that is also useful. Probably a bit like more performance intensive to search for string everywhere. I was mainly thinking of if you have the list of the files locally, it may be even the client side that search for the file and like select it for you.
Mm-hmm.
But looks great.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's coming together. Andreas, since you popped up, definitely file bugs. I know you have been, but keep filing bugs with the production URLs or anything, so we could get them in the queue.
Sure.
So Andreas and Phillips are beta testing it right now, and I guess it will move to contributors maybe this summer.
Yeah, I'm not sure the timeline. Things might shift around a little bit, but I mean, yeah, ideally, yes.
Okay. Thanks so much for sharing that, Kumar. That was great. That was really great. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna turn it over to Will now. Will, you're gonna show us something else with the add-ons manager.
Mm-hmm. So, okay. So to answer your question, Silva, I'm working on a patch to add toggling on both panels, on the side panels. So you will soon be able to toggle the panels. Yeah, that's it. That's basically my work in progress and my demo for today. So far, you have to click the buttons. But in the near future, you will have a shortcut, keyboard shortcut, to get this full experience of the code base you are looking at. And yeah, that's it. And same as Kumar said, this is responsive, and no matter what's inside the left or the right panel, you always get the button at the bottom at the same place, and you get the shortcut as well if the page has shortcuts. And that's it. Okay.
Awesome.
Cool. Okay, and then I think our next show and tell is going to be from Andrew. I said that.
Hello.
Yeah, shouldn't have been a question. It's Andrew.
It's me. I'm not sure how to share my screen now. It's my first rodeo, so see if this works. Okay. Can you see my Firefox?
Yes.
Okay. Kind of moving most of the surprise there. Okay, so I've been working on some changes for the API to do with recommended add-ons, which are the big thing this quarter, at least were before the add-on spamming got in the way. So there's a lot of changes to come. But one thing has landed so far is bumping up the recommended add-ons on the search results. So as dev is now, if you search for calendar, you see, well, actually you see lots of themes actually, because there's a weird thing on the dev environment that only themes have users for some reason. So they always appear at the top of the list. So anyway, you're not seeing anything special, you're just seeing lots of themes. You're not seeing any recommended add-ons. They're literally all themes at the moment. So the reason at the moment you're not seeing anything special is because the waffle flag in the background is turned off. So if Andreas can turn on the waffle flag for me, my glamorous assistant. It's on. Excellent. Okay, so if I rerun the search now, this is another live demo, so let's see. It should, hopefully. Probably not going to be difference there, but now the recommended add-on, which is called Teamwork Button, has jumped up list to second place. In reality, most of the time it will jump up to the top, and you see I've opened the detail page and it's actually recommended. Bob has invented the little badge already, so it's recommended. So most of the time would actually bump up to the top, but because it's got 0 users on dev, the algorithm is still saying, it's still prioritizing an add-on with some users over an add-on with 0 users, because that's still deemed more relevant. But of course, if it had any number of users, it would jump massively up the list, and yeah, would be at the top. And yeah, that's it. There's more changes to come in terms of how the recommended add-ons are surfaced in like the homepage shelves and so on and so on, but that's still in progress.
Another question, with all the changes that are incoming, does recommended and feature will mean the same thing?
Recommended is going to replace featured, basically. The process is going to replace it, and with the exception of themes, which are kind of going to keep the old model where things get added to a collection and so on. The recommended process is going to replace it for all of the types of add-on, because there's there's going to be a code review process in place, and actual tooling to be able to properly verify these. So yeah, but whereas featuring doesn't really have that at all. It's just kind of it gets added to a collection, and then it's fine, right? We don't actually check it again, which is a bit of a risk there. So yeah, it's going to replace it. It's going to be very similar in terms of the user experience on the front end, but in the back end, it's basically replacement.
Okay. And then the other thing is that like, I think it's something like half of the featured, like who's currently in the featured collection is going to be moving to recommended, but not all of them. So we've got some comms planned going out to them in early June to let them know that there's going to be a status change. Well, cool. Well, thanks for sharing, Andrew. We've got 5 minutes left. Anybody have a quick demo that they'd like to share? Okay, well then why don't we'll close it out for this month. Thanks everybody for joining us. We'll see you hopefully next month, and this was really great. Thanks everybody. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.